You ready?
I am.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Lazy Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Sam Priestley, and once again I am joined by Emma Priestley, my wife. Say hello, Emma.
Hello.
So for the last couple of episodes, we've tried this new format. Let me know what you think. Email me at hello@sampriestley.com. And yeah, any input you could give, anything you think we could do to improve these podcasts, I'm very much open to suggestions. A few people are saying they'd like to hear a jingle at the beginning. Well, if you're a jingle producer and want to create one for me, I'd really appreciate that. Alright, on to today's topic. So today I want to talk about how to get customers for your business. So we're kind of assuming now you've got a business, you've got a product to sell, you've got maybe a blog that you're writing that you want people to read, software as a service that you want people to sign up for. Maybe you start freelancing, you're doing some consultancy or something like that, and you're trying to get customers. Generally, the way you market these businesses will obviously be quite specific. There's some general guidelines we can follow, which covers pretty much all of them. And hopefully this will give you a look into how I think about marketing, how I think about getting customers. So what we're looking at today are marketing split into 10 different categories. And generally what I try and do with any of my visitors is I try and do a bit of trial and error for each of these types of marketing. And then I see which ones work, and then I really go deep into that one type. And generally what you'll find is that one will work really well for a while, and then you'll kind of reach saturation point, and then it'll be time to move on to the next one. Or you'll change your product slightly, and the original marketing type you were doing isn't working that great anymore, or doesn't really suit that product. Or you've got higher margins, so you can spend a bit more and do a different type of marketing, and you might move on to one of those. Yeah, so we're going to cover each of these, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how I've implemented each one into my business. And Emma is going to help with that because she is a marketer. She was a marketing manager at PwC, and then was freelance doing digital marketing for about a year and a half after that.
Yep.
So hopefully we get a pretty good discussion out of it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you won't disagree with everything I say.
Well, I think I will, because I'm the corporate side and you're the entrepreneurial, do things differently side.
Yeah, I think so, because you've actually done marketing courses where
Yeah.
they teach you the official way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I'm just making this up as I go along.
Yeah.
Great. Alright, let's dive in. So the first one I want to talk about is PR, public relations. And by that what I mean is getting other people to write about you or produce content for you. That can be other bloggers, it can be people on Instagram, but generally we're talking about media, we're talking about newspapers, online news sites, stuff like that. One of the reasons I really like this type of marketing is that it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, maybe you have to hire someone to do it, or it costs you your time to do it, but you're not actually paying them any money for you to appear in a newspaper, for you to get all that free publicity. It's something that Donald Trump has obviously done very well when it comes to his presidential election. He's got incredible amounts of free publicity by creating these kind of PR storms that people just love to write about. And if you compare his spending to Hillary Clinton's spending, I mean, Donald Trump was the first person who spent less and won.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. I think it shows the power of this type of marketing. It is also quite a daunting one, and one that I've only really started doing pretty much since we started doing Pipe House Gin about a year ago. Like, how do you get in touch with newspapers? How do you write a
press release?
A press release, that's the word. I can remember. How do you provide? Yeah. Who do you email? Do you just email editor@thetimes.com or something, or editor@bbcnews.com? I don't know. And there's obviously really big companies who specialise in just that. They have people who, probably ex-editors at big places, who kind of have all the contacts, and there's a bit of like an old boys network going along. But it does work. It does work very well. So with Pipe House Gin, we go quite a traditional route with our public relations. We write a press release statement, which we then send out to all kind of the local newspapers and sort of media outlets about something that that's interesting about a business. If we just won an award, if we've got a new flavour coming out, if we've got a launch party coming up, kind of any excuse, we will send it out. And if it's an event, we'll invite some of the journalists along as well, some of the local bloggers, some of the kind of Instagram celebrities, and hope that they will then translate the sort of information we've given them into sort of newsworthy articles.
Yeah, and we also attached some professional photos as well of the product and of us, because it was a local angle. We wanted to promote ourselves and tell the story. So actually having pictures of us was quite crucial in that.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like we wrote their article for them.
Yeah.
We gave them a structure of what we thought they might want to write. We gave them all the pictures and just made it very easy for the journalist to turn that into something. That works quite well in kind of local settings like where we are, especially for a small-time business. Local newspapers, local bloggers want to hear about the latest Kent gin.
Yeah.
They're quite keen to write about it, and they're also sort of notoriously don't have that much to fill their newspapers with anyway.
Yeah, we're doing them a favour.
Whereas this process probably wouldn't work so well targeting much bigger places, and is a sort of PR that we're probably going to outgrow at some point.
Yeah.
But right now it's working quite well for us. The other side of PR, so that's kind of the traditional side. The other side of PR is what called like PR stunts, where you do something potentially outrageous, potentially a bit silly, to try and get sort of media attention.
Like Brewdog.
Brewdog is a good example of that. They constantly do things to try and get people to write about them, whether that is brewing beer while skydiving or any sort of craziness. And there's loads of examples of this, from people who protest their own store opening.
Yeah.
Which is something I really like the idea of, to creating sort of false outrage, to trying to get people to like a small group of people to hate their product. So one example is, there was a writer who wrote a book about picking up women, and his marketing strategy was to contact all the feminist groups at local universities and try and arrange protests against his new book. So he create big uproar on one side, so that the people who kind of disagree with them, or even if they don't, other people will then hear about it.
You love that story. That annoys me so much.
I do love it. I think it's great. Not something I want to do. I don't like people heating with me, but yeah, it's kind of with this kind of PR stuff. I always think about bloggers and blogging and YouTubers, and generally, if you're liked by everybody, then you're kind of loved by no one. We're quite a clanny people. People like outrage. They like sort of anything. I don't know how to describe it. There's something about being unpleasant that makes people want to write about you or be really polarising. It's something I don't really do on my blog, because I quite like being liked by people. But I know that if I started having really strong opinions about controversial subjects, not only would I get people writing about me both to support me, I'd also get lots of people writing about me who disagree with me, and all those people who are writing about me disagreeing with me will be promoting my stuff. They will inadvertently be giving me extra search engine optimization. They will be introducing me to their audiences. Most of you probably have never heard of me.
Yeah, but you don't want to go down that route
from
a personal perspective.
From a personal perspective. But really, the PR is one of the kind of the most, in some ways, the most exciting types of marketing, because with PR stunts, if you have a really good creative idea, it can translate into something really great.
Would you want to talk about the table tennis video?
I will do, but it brings us
on
on to the next subject, the next type of marketing that I want to talk about, which is content marketing.
Yeah.
So I'm differentiating slightly between PR and content marketing, with that content marketing is when you're creating something, so you're creating a blog post, a video, Instagram pages, whatever.
You have control over the content.
Yeah, versus PR, where you're trying to get other people to write about you.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of a crossover.
Yeah.
So you could do something with your content marketing, which then leads to more PR and other people writing about you. sort of classic example of this would be stuff that goes viral.
Yeah.
Say a video, you create like so the example from my experience is for our table tennis business, we created a video of me learning to play table tennis. It was kind of a 1 second a day video going from a complete beginner to fairly good, and that video did really, really well. It was shared by lots of people, it went viral, and it's now got kind of over 10 million views and has led to a bunch of other PR. We're on BBC News, we're on a few television shows, all sorts of newspapers, and also to some extra sales for our table tennis business and some extra SEO for my own personal blog. But all round, that was something where we created content with the hope that other people would look at it and it would help promote whatever it was we were doing at the time. And there's all sorts of that. One example could be my blog, where I'm trying to produce good quality content that people like and that people read, but that hopefully will then lead to some sort of marketing for me, whether that is someone might go off and buy a bottle of our gin because I've told them, really in depth how to start a gym business, or it might be someone might sign up something that I'm affiliated with where I'll earn a commission. Content marketing is something that you'll see quite regularly. Basically, most articles you see online by sort of any businesses is content marketing. They often have whole teams to do it, or they'll hire outside teams to write blog posts for them, to just create content to keep people interested. And I'm kind of putting stuff like social media on here as well. So, for instance, we've got an Instagram page where one of our directors for Pipehouse Gin is in charge of regularly updating. She goes out, she takes lots of lovely pictures, does some nice animations, with the hope that people will see that nice image content that we're creating and then go off and buy our products. Content marketing is one that I think is a little bit more wishy-washy. It's not my favourite type of marketing, which you might be surprised at since I have a whole blog about.
Yeah.
Which is basic content marketing. But I think there's a lot more variance in it. So you could go viral, you could end up with 10 million views on YouTube and the work you put in be really, really worth it. Or you could spend 2 years writing blog posts every week and nobody reads it at all.
Yeah.
So it's something that, can work and you probably should do, but isn't, as I say, my favourite. It's not. There's no guaranteed it will work. If you do something like PR, where if you get into a newspaper, that's gonna translate to something good for you because they've already got readership by producing the content yourself. And when you don't have a readership, knowing how that's going to go down is a lot more variable.
Well, on that, what do you think it was about the YouTube video of you playing table tennis 1 second a day that made it go viral?
So I think with viral, it's hard to put a formula down to what it takes. Generally, it seems that what it takes is kind of a critical mass of interest in quite a short period of time. So with that table tennis video, it wasn't that we slowly got loads of views over a long time. We did do that. So 9.5 million of those views happened over about a 2-year period.
Oh, wow.
But what made it go viral first was a lot of views, probably about 40,000 within the space of a few hours. And that kind of trending really pushed it up and then pushed it into a lot of other people's consciousness. So we reached sort of the front page of Reddit, we were on sort of YouTube trending for a while, and at that point then loads of other people picked it up, started promoting it, kind of loads of mainstream media, which then led to that kind of long tail of the majority of views which we ended up getting. And so there are ways that you can kind of game this system. There's ways, so there's something called Thunderclap for Twitter, where you get a group of people together who kind of support you, and then you all tweet about the same sort of hashtag or same subject at the same time within a few seconds of each other, and that will like push you up into like the trending section. There are kind of a lot more black hat ways of doing it. So places like Reddit have like an upvote and downvote system. So what some companies, or I suppose you call them hackers, would do is they create loads of fake accounts and then they'll upvote their own stuff to try and force it to try and like set off that avalanche. And there are people who are experts in creating viral content, you know, knowing a bit about psychology, what it is that people want to see, that will kind of like tweak their interest,
the wording,
getting them
the
sharing
imagery.
about it, the wording, the imagery, the outrage. And you see them all the time. So a recent one I saw was someone posted that he'd gotten an Uber. The Uber driver took him to a baseball game, and he had a spare ticket. And then there was pictures of them in the Uber, and he gave the driver the ticket, and then they all went and watched the game together. And that went viral. Loads of people read about it and loved it. But then it quickly transpired, after people did a bit of digging, that the guy who created it was a marketing specialist who happened to be working for a company that was hired by Uber in order to create viral marketing. And so there is quite a lot of that going around. And it's stuff you can do to your own advantage. It's not something I've really spent much time looking into or doing. But it does work. And again, it's kind of thinking creatively outside the box, ways in which you can get that interest. I suppose the other way you can have that kind of instant viralness is by already having a large community or audience that you can push out to.
Yeah.
Which brings me nicely on to our next form of marketing, which I'm going to call community building. So this is anything where your focus is on building like a loyal fan base, or sort of reselling or remarketing to people who've already heard about you or already are your customers. So now I kind of talk about building an email list and sending them out emails. Let's say you save the email of everybody who's bought your product on your online website, and then when you release a new product, you send out whatever it is that you're doing, and then hope that they will buy it. Or you upsell. You have someone buy one thing, and then you send them emails about whatever the next step is. Or if you're not actually sending something, you could do it the other way around, where you try and get people onto your email list by giving them some free stuff, maybe through content marketing, and then hopefully turn them into loyal customers later down the road. I'm also talking about having lots of followers on social media. So with our Instagram posts, that is content marketing, but there's also some community building there, because we're trying to get as many followers as possible.
Yeah.
In fact, right now we're running a giveaway where if you like and share a post and tag in a friend, then you'll be entered into a free giveaway for a bottle of gin.
Yeah.
With the hope that that'll be pushed out, that people will share it. It will go not viral, but have enough of a spread that we'll end up getting more customers and more followers and more people who've heard about us, basically. Now, community building works really, really well if you have the type of product that a loyal fan base would be into, particularly if you're doing something quite creative. Let's say you're writing a comic book or something like that, or you're doing an online webcomic, or you're running a YouTube series, or you're writing a blog like I am. All of those things kind of rely on a big community, a big following. Whereas if you're doing something different, like selling table tennis bats, maybe building a community isn't the best way to go forward, because it's a lot harder to build a loyal fan base of people who's really into your table tennis products.
Yeah, because ultimately they're going to be less likely to be a return customer, aren't they?
There's also going to be a return customer, and it's harder for people to get really excited about table tennis business than it is about something creative. If you're an indie video game developer, people can get really into that. Or if you've made a board game that people love, if you're Cards Against Humanity and you're and people love your board game and love like your kind of PR stunts, then that does build a customer base. That's not always the case. Some brands have done very well at building a real loyal fan base. Think about Apple and all their crazy fans.
Yeah.
Think about Supreme, the clothing brand, who have hour-long queues to buy their stuff. Think about sort of high fashion, anything like that, where they've kind of built a loyal fan base and which has a value in itself, and people are placing more value on that brand than perhaps they would do if it was generic.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a slightly different twist with the next one. We're going to talk about events. So this is real life events, and where I'm kind of going with events is more talking about the building a presence, building sort of letting people know about your product, and on the marketing side, not really on the direct sales side. Although there are examples where both works. So for the gin, we do quite a lot of market stalls, and the market stalls have a dual purpose. One is that we make money off them. We're there, we're selling gin, we're getting direct sales. But the more important side to it, at least in our opinion, is that it is alerting people to us. It's kind of, in some ways, free advertising, because we are covering all our costs by actually selling there. But then everyone who walks past sees us, and everyone we hand a flyer to, everyone who tries our gin might then go and order it at a bar or buy a bottle later on.
Yeah, and the really good thing about the market stalls is it gives us an opportunity to talk to our customers. So some people say, oh, I saw you in the paper and I really wanted to come and buy a bottle. Or I saw you in our local pub and I wanted to come and meet you. Whatever it is, it gives us an opportunity to actually see what marketing is working.
Yeah, and a little bit of community building in that is we do actually end up with some loyal fans.
Yeah.
People who've met the makers, they know about us. Now whenever they buy someone a bottle of gin as a present, they'll buy ours because they've got a little story behind it.
Yeah.
Which works quite well. That's market stalls. There's also going to trade shows to meet customers, where you're spending quite a lot of money on a stall, on staff to man it, but then hoping to build off customers off the back of that, build some publicity for whatever it is you're selling, or as you say, to get some market research to find out what other stuff is working, what people like about the brand. I've also put down here speaking engagements, so talking at conferences, things like that. And then there's a slightly different side of the events, and that is going to other people's events. The other side of events is putting on events yourself. So for instance, when we launched the gin, we had a launch party where we invited on all sort of local media and press and tried to create a bit of a buzz about us in the local area. We combined that with a PR in that we told all the local newspapers that the event was happening and invited them along.
Yeah, and all the local bloggers as well. So all of the amateurs that have really big followings locally.
Yeah. And people who are just kind of avid photographers, so Instagram people as well, so they can come along and take some nice pictures.
Yeah.
And this kind of event marketing is what Emma used to specialise in when you worked at PwC.
Yeah, I love it. It's all about meeting the customers face to face and having a conversation with them, getting to know them, and promoting your product or service. It's all about developing relationships rather than a hardcore sale.
So at PwC, where obviously what you're selling is each sale is worth millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah.
Spending quite a lot of money on an event where only a kind of small group of people are coming, but who are all very high value customers. You're not selling them anything then and there, but you're hoping to build that relationship. You're hoping to do some marketing to let them know about you, and then hopefully that will then translate later into really big sales.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal was always, first of all, the decision makers turned up to the event, and then second of all, we would get a follow-up meeting in their office with one of our directors or partners to then have a more formal business conversation rather than a more kind of broader, maybe hot topic related conversation or even a personal conversation.
Which kind of brings me on to the next one I want to talk about, which is direct sales, which is where you're actually speaking to people directly and saying to them. That can either be done by you or it can be through hiring a sales team. So direct sales, in what you've just said, would be your directors turning up to their office or them coming to your office and them actually selling them something in person. For us with Pipehouse Gin, that is going into local bars and restaurants and trying to get them then and there, or maybe in the future to place an order with us.
Yeah.
On a slight level above that, that's also going to bigger distributors or to supermarkets, pitching to their buyer team and then hoping they're going to place a big order. Direct sales works very well for something like gin, but it doesn't work very well for something like my blog.
Yeah.
Where for each reader of the blog, I make a very, very, very small amount of money. And so actually me talking to everybody, me going sort of maybe like walking the street and trying to get people that I meet randomly to read my blog is not a very good long-term marketing business. Whereas on the total flip side, if you're working for PwC, maybe going through and trying to sell directly to the CEO of the top 500 companies in the UK directly might be a very good use of your time. It might be that you spend a year and only get one sale, but that sale could be worth it.
Yeah.
So this one is kind of dependent on your business. But where it could work better for smaller businesses is through affiliate marketing or commission-based marketing. This is similar to direct sales, but where you're getting other people to market your business and you're paying them to do it through some commission. So an example could be, say with Pipehouse Gym, we could find an influencer on Instagram who's got a lot of followers. We could contact them and say, let's do a deal. If you post about our stuff, we'll give you a discount code, and anyone who uses that discount code will give you a commission. We'll give you, say, £1 or £2 a bottle for any sale that you directly deliver. It's also one of the ways I make money on my blog, is that a company will come to me and will say, you're talking about our product already, why don't you maybe talk about it a bit more, and any sale you drive to us will give you a percentage of whatever they've done. It's what Amazon does quite a lot. So on my blog, if let's say I tell you about the microphone we're using right now for this podcast, and you go to Amazon and buy it, I earn a little bit of commission. Affiliate marketing works very well because you don't have to have any upfront costs. It's all about the costs are basically backloaded, so you can open up your sort of affiliations to anybody. You can say you can have like just a sign up thing on your page, and anyone can sign up and start promoting it. It's also like refer a friend deals. So if you've got a good community, you could offer all your current customers a refer a friend. Everyone else they refer to your business, they'll get maybe a bit of money, and maybe there'll be a bonus for whoever they signed up as well.
Yeah, or a percentage off your product or service.
Yes, exactly. Affiliate marketing works very well for software as a service type businesses.
Yeah.
Businesses where there's not really an upfront cost to the product.
Yeah.
So it could work quite well for, say, Pipehouse Gin, but we couldn't get everybody in the world signed up using it and promoting it, because we just can't deal with that sort of quantity, and there's quite a lot of cost per product we're selling, and maybe the commission we can give people probably isn't really worth their time. Whereas let's say I got a video course online, if I had a video course on maybe how to play table tennis, and I was and everyone who signs up to it pays, say, £100. It doesn't matter how many people sign up to it because it's just a download. The cost per sale is very low to me, so then I could afford to give people who are affiliated with me really high commissions. So I could say a 50% commission. That means that suddenly, whereas getting someone to buy a bottle of gin might only be worth £1, getting someone to sign up to this video course could be worth £50 to you. And that's generally how kind of these refer a friend commission-based things work. Is it's only really worth the time for the people you're getting to do it if you can give them a really decent chunk. Next on, I'm going to talk about business development. So business development is used to talk about a few different things, and often if you see people hiring a business development manager, what they often mean is just a salesperson.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm talking about here. By business development, I'm talking about building relationships with other businesses where you could end up doing some sort of collaborations, partnerships, sort of joint marketing stuff that benefits both of you, where you coming together, leveraging both your audiences, both your communities, actually benefits both of you. So this could be I've actually written down any examples here. Sorry. So let's say with my blog, thank you very much. Emma just handed me a glass of water. So with my blog, it could be working with another blogger and us both producing a bit of content together and then pushing it out to both our audiences. If you've got a YouTube channel, it could be having other YouTubers come onto your channel and doing sort of collaborative videos that hopefully both your audience will want to listen to. With this podcast, it could be having guests on who I know have got quite big audiences, but who also my audience might like to hear from, and then kind of combining audiences. Let's say you got a big brand, it could be kind of partnership deals. It could be Coca-Cola teaming up with, say, West Ham or something like that, where they end up building something or creating something that's more than sort of the sum of their parts.
Yeah, and both their followings have a mutual interest.
Business development is something that can work very well, and it's something that can come quite naturally just by sort of networking and being friendly and helping out other people in your business, in your industry. So, for instance, with the gin, because I've written quite frankly about what it takes to start a gin business, quite a few other people who own alcohol businesses have contacted me just for a chat, and they don't want anything from me.
Yeah.
But by talking to them, we're able to share tips. We'll talk about, what margin did you get with this distributor or whatever, kind of all the stuff that.
Yeah, what boxes did you use?
Yeah,
to
what
pack
company
your gin?
did you use for this?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So generally, I think it's a really good idea to be on good terms with other people in your industry.
Definitely.
Because you can help each other. It's not a zero-sum game. Yes, you are competitors, but generally, by working together, you can grow the market and you can benefit both of you.
Yeah, you can better both your businesses.
One sort of example of how we're kind of doing this at the moment with the gin is by going around and doing sort of professional photography of our gin at each of their bars. So we're basically paying the money it takes to get all those lovely pictures, provided our gin is in it. And now these pictures they can use for their own marketing and we can use for our marketing. We don't need to rent a location to take great pictures.
Yeah.
And they don't need to hire a photographer to come in and take great pictures. Alright, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit, very quickly, about search engine optimization. This is a bit more of a specific topic, but I've put it in because it's very, very important, especially if you're running any sort of online business. And that is basically to appear high on search terms.
Yeah.
It's called SEO, search engine optimization, but really when I'm talking about here, I'm talking about whatever platform it is that you want to be found on. So I'm talking about Google, if you want your website to be found on Google. I'm talking YouTube, if you want to appear high on YouTube results.
Amazon.
And I'm talking about Amazon, if you want to appear high when, let's say someone searches for gin, and you want to appear as high as possible on that. Search engine optimization is a skill in itself, and it's often combined with a bit of content marketing. It's writing the sort of stuff that people want to read and will keep coming back to your website.
Yeah, and it's popular.
So search engines will pick up on that. But it's also combined with, I suppose, a bit of PR as well, because one of the best ways to appear higher on search engines is to have lots of links coming in from other places.
Yeah.
And really, those are the only two important things for optimization. You want to have as many readers and customers as possible, because search engines are quite good at picking up on that. And you also want lots of other online places linking to you, and so they can see those links coming in.
Make you look credible.
So let's talk very quickly about business development again. What a lot of bloggers do is they'll get very friendly with all the other bloggers in their industry, and then they'll all link to each other, so that their combined SEO rankings go up. It's quite important. So those are the really two things. You write really good content, you have really good quality stuff that people want to see on your website, and you get as many people as possible talking about you and linking to your site. And that's all I'm going to say about search engine optimization, because it's quite a big topic, but it is something you should take quite seriously. Onwards. And for the last two that I want to talk about are paid advertising. So first of all, I'm going to talk about general paid advertising, and then secondly, I'm going to talk about pay-per-click advertising.
Yeah.
So first of all, general paid advertising is, say, talk to a newspaper.
Yeah.
They've got an advert section where I can put like a
Big banner
a
ad.
big banner, yeah, a picture of our gin or whatever it is we're trying to sell,
Yeah.
and get people going along to it. Or yeah, say for your Emma's Nomad Kitchen, your supper clubs, you could put a banner ad somewhere and get people coming along. These generally paid advertising is very easy to get into because anyone will take your money really to appear on it, versus PR where you're appearing in the same paper but you're not paying for it. And people know one's an advert and one isn't, and so put more trust in the one that isn't an advert. But it is also quite hard to track how well it's doing. Like, one of the nice things about most of the other ones we talked about is you can really quite easily see the return on investment for what you're putting in. Whereas with a paid advert, if we spend say £1,000 and for £100 advert in 10 different newspapers, we don't really have a good way of tracking whether it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like a specific email address just for that ad, or
You
put
could
some
do.
sort of tag on it.
Yeah, you could have a specific phone number.
Yeah.
There's services that will allow have a different phone number for each one, so you can
Yeah.
track what's coming in. You could have a discount code for each one, so you can track it that way.
Which will help you just decide whether you do that again, whether that's a
Yeah.
one-off.
But then on the flip side of that is sometimes when doing advertising, you aren't looking for direct sales. So those sort of advertising, what you'll find is it's very difficult. Say we did the sort of tracking we're talking about,
Yeah.
to find any kind of paid adverts that will
Give you a
return
return on
their
investment.
investment. Really, it's more for the general promotion of your brand. I think they say that the average person needs to see your brand 7 times in order to remember it.
Yeah.
So maybe our target would be doing market stalls that see us once, having adverts in a few different papers that see us 2 or 3 more times. They see we're
Local
doing
bar.
paid adverts on Facebook targeted at people who live locally, so they see it again, and then we have it on the front of shelves in local bars.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better way to kind of focus on paid advertising.
Yeah.
Especially ones where you're just paying a set amount for like a banner ad, or you're paying a set amount for an advertorial. An advertorial is where you write kind of a fake article that's really just an advert, but it's kind of presented as if it was a normal piece of journalism or a normal blog. That's one type of paid advertising. The other type is pay-per-click, which you can only really do online for obvious reasons, because the way it works is you pay per person who clicks on whatever it is and then goes to your website. Now this sort of advertising is very good for very specific tracking like we were talking about, and hoping to get a direct return on your investment for whatever you're putting in. And if you get it right, it's amazing and works really well because it's kind of instantly scalable. It's one way, the more money you put in, as long as you've got a formula that works and you're getting it for a cost per click that you know will translate into sales, you can scale it right up.
And the other thing is you can pick a specific audience as well. So whether it's a geography, whether it's a gender, whether it's an age, you can be quite selective of your demographic as well.
You can if you're doing it on something like Facebook, yes.
Or LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn, yeah. And that's where the value in that sort of social media advertising is. But you can also do general social pay-per-click advertising where you can do pay-per-click advertising on someone's blog, for instance. They could have it built in. You've got no idea who the audience is. All you know is that they're people who read that blog.
Yeah.
And that might therefore be the type of audience you're looking for.
Yeah.
Or you can do it on Google where you're targeting certain keywords. You know what people are searching for, and you know what search terms translate good to sales for you, and you target those ones and you pay a bit higher click.
How does it work with Amazon advertising? That's something I don't know much about.
Amazon advertising is similar. It's pay-per-click. And what you do is it's quite simple. So you basically just target keywords, and you can do that manually yourself, or they've got an automated thing where it will sort of look through what people have searched for and have bought your products, and then retarget them.
That's interesting.
And then what you can do with the automated one, you can go back and you can then remove keywords that aren't relevant to you. So for instance, with our table tennis bats, We find when automated advertising like that, we'll find that we'll start appearing for search terms to do with tennis bats or tennis rackets, which is a completely different sport.
Yeah.
So by removing, so we can go back and remove that. Amazon advertising is obviously one that works very well for direct metrics, because you go on their platform and it tells you directly your cost of sale, the percentage of each sale that you're spending on advertising.
Looking forward to trying that out with the gym.
Yeah, we're going to do some of that with the gym. We do that very successfully with the table tennis stuff at the moment. You can build in that sort of direct tracking with Facebook adverts, with Google adverts as well. Technology is very clever these days, so you can track from someone who clicks on the link on Google, you can track them right through to them going to the shopping cart on your website, whatever it is. If you've got, say, let's say you're running a restaurant where you want bookings, you can track people going through to your booking form and see how many happen, and you can track how many turn up, see whether it was worth it for that. Or you can, if let's say you take phone bookings, you can track how many people then phone you based off that advert. You can have a specific phone number in the kind of Google advert or Facebook advert or whatever, and have sort of automated software which tracks how that's getting on. So there's a lot you can do. Alright, that's my 10 forms of advertising, of marketing that we've got into. We've got public relations, content marketing, community building, events, search engine optimization, business development, direct sales, affiliate marketing or commission-based marketing, paid advertising in general, and paid advertising via pay-per-click. I know we've kind of whizzed through quite quickly, and each of them could be a multiple hour-long podcast in themselves.
Definitely.
So if you have any questions, then please just email me, and hopefully at some point I'll turn this all into a really in-depth blog post with examples and kind of how-to guides on each one. And then again, as I said at the beginning, if you've got any advice or tips or things we can do to improve this podcast, then please email me, hello@sampriestley. And I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a good review on iTunes. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.